Hi ladies! Today's video will be about my TTC intro, and this is just going to go through my history of all the things that I've been diagnosed with, things that I've gone through my TTC journey. So let's get started. My husband and I decided we were ready to conceive our second child when our daughter turned 10 months. When she turned 10 months, we decided we were ready and we were going to start trying. We tried for about 6 months and nothing was working. During that time that I was trying, I noticed that there was a change in my menstrual cycle. I remember that year having only about 2 to 3 cycles. Our insurance was not that great, and every time I would go and try to explain to them, you know, I'm trying to conceive, they would just put me on birth control. We had done about 3 months in a row of birth control, and I was just very, very frustrated with my OB. Well, our goal was to get pregnant, and we could not get pregnant while taking birth control. I switched doctors. I switched to a lady doctor. So she gave me Provera for 10 days and then also Clomid 50 milligrams. During the time I was taking the birth control, I would be hospitalized every month, at least once a month. I was experiencing very, very bad pain, either on my left side or my right side, and it was just unbearable. One time I thought I was going to pass out. They would just tell me that I had liquid in my pelvic area. They told me that I had a cyst. And so this whole time, you know, we had been going back and forth with birth control and then trying and not being successful, and then also the hospitalizations with the pelvic pain. Finally got a really good doctor, and she was a lady doctor, and she gave us 50 milligrams of Clomid and then also Provera to induce a period. We were successful on our first cycle of trying with Clomid and Provera. We don't have to go through any more treatments, any more medications, and we were just over the moon. And then about 6.5 weeks into the pregnancy, I started having brown discharge. That same day in the afternoon, I started spotting pink and red blood. So that's when I knew that we were in the process of losing our baby. Going through a miscarriage was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in my entire life. They told us that we could not try to conceive for the next 2 months. When the 2 months were up, we did again another round of 50 milligrams of Clomid, also with the Provera to induce a period. I was expecting it to be super quick, for it to work right off the bat, and I had really, really high hopes. And when it didn't work, I was completely devastated. We did about 3 more months of Provera and Clomid and still no success. And then after a month of Clomid, my doctor had moved. Then my husband got a really, really good job. He has a degree in computer science. We were able to get better insurance. We decided, you know, we needed to go to a specialist. So I called, and most of the time you do need a referral, but he just said, come on in if you've been trying for a year without success. So during our first appointment, we did an ultrasound, and the ultrasound confirmed that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. And for those of you who don't know what PCOS is, it basically means that you have more male hormones in your body than female hormones. During that initial visit, the camera detected that there was cell changes, precancerous cell changes on my cervix. I was scheduled to have a colposcopy, and that is where they take a hole punch from that area and then they send it to the lab for pathology, and they test it to see what it is, and then they let you know. And so when the results came back, it was positive for precancerous changes. The first month of going to the RE was basically test after test after test. Then we were sent to Simi Valley, and we live in Bakersfield, so we had to drive about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours to Simi Valley. They were going to do a blood test which would tell us why we had the miscarriage to see if I carried an antibody. It was negative. Then my doctor suggested that we do a laparoscopy surgery. They do 3 holes, one under your belly button, one on your right side, and one right at your pubic bone. And they do little incisions that are about less than 1 inch to 1 inch, and they blow up your stomach with some kind of gas, and then they are able to see, you know, your uterus, your tubes, ovaries, everything. They found out that I had a cyst and a tumor, and he also found endometriosis. He ended up cauterizing, burning everything. I was able to go to the restroom around 10 p.m. We drove home, and of course I was, you know, taking it easy. I had my laparoscopy in October, and I believe I had my HSG. For those of you who don't know what HSG stands for, is hysterosalpingogram, and it's just a test where they inject dye into uterus and they want it to spill out of the tubes. So we had that test done, and it was very, very painful. You have to lay on this bed, then you have an x-ray machine on top of you, and it's just in the most uncomfortable position. It's like a pap smear. They put the speculum in, and then they insert a catheter, and the catheter was very painful. So then they injected the dye into my uterus, and it filled up, and then it went to my right side, and it was, you know, it was flowing out. So that was, you know, a clear tube, which was good. But when it got to my left, it wasn't coming out as smoothly. So my doctor had to tilt me. I did not have any blocked tubes or anything like that. I did not have a septum in my uterus. I was told that I did have endometriosis, and my doctor required a therapy with an injection, intramuscular injection called Lupron Depot. So, but after the 3rd month, I decided I did not want to take it anymore, mainly because the side effects were really bad. I started thinking about suicidal things, and I didn't want to be put in that situation, and I just decided, you know, I don't want to do this. We waited about a month, and then we decided that we were going to start trying again. So then the doctor put us on 250 milligrams of Clomid, and I had my follicle scan. I'll go ahead and link that down below. It showed that I had 4 mature follicles, which meant we could be pregnant with quadruplets if, you know, they all fertilized. So that was pretty exciting. But we decided not to do the IUI just because we did have 4 targets. This month, I already took 250 milligrams of Clomid. And tomorrow I have my cycle day 16 follicle scan, and we will find out how many eggs I have, if they're mature, if I'm going to need the trigger shot again like I did last cycle. And also, the most important thing is to schedule the IUI. My husband also has low sperm count, and he has male infertility factor, which means his sperm count is low. So he was immediately put on 50 milligrams of Clomid every single day, and he has been on that since January. He went from 9 million to 40 million. So that has been our infertility journey so far. Thank you so much for watching. I'll either have an update tomorrow or on Wednesday, and I will be filming my IUI experience. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Remember that we're going to do a giveaway once we hit 300 subscribers. So stay tuned for that. Bye, guys.